video games causing children and teenagers to become more violent? President Trump thinks so. More on that tonight.
I'm outside of McComas Hall, where the concert for the Ragtime Jazz Festival will take place.
I'm Cole Dillon, and I'll update you on the Pride Parade.
Video games and violence. For years, people have claimed there's a connection.
And recently, President Trump said he believes there is. Take 30's Hunter Grundy joins us now with what researchers believe.
The video game that seems to be the hype right now is Fortnite, and as you can tell, it's pretty violent. Your character's dropped on an island with about 100 people or so, and the goal is to be the last one standing by killing the others.
Bad things are happening to young kids and young minds, and their minds are being formed. And we have to do something about maybe what they're seeing and how they're seeing it, and also video games. I'm hearing more and more people say the level of violence on video games is really shaping young people's thoughts.
Sociology professor Dr. Ashley Vansel-Leap says violence in video games have not been studied at MSU, but plenty others have studied it. Stetson University psychology professor Christopher Ferguson wrote there is no evidence to support claims that media violence and real-world violence are linked. He studied violent video games for nearly 15 years. He says in 2011, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that there was no clear connection between violent video games and aggressive behavior. Even the criminologists who study mass shootings refer to those claims as myths. Nick Jenkins plays Fortnite every day.
I've been playing video games at a very young age. Some were violent, some were not, but I've never had the tendency to think about violence or going to shoot anything, hurt people or anything like that. I do not fully agree with everything that President Trump said in the video. However, I do believe people's minds are affected by video games, music, movies, or things that they see in everyday life that are violent. Even things on the news and social media.
Others believe that it starts with the parents.
In today's world, with iPhones and stuff, they want to play the games that other kids play, and I monitor them. I don't do the gore, I don't do the violence, I don't do the gun shooting. My opinion is they're watching it, the parents are letting them watch it, they have no reality of what's real and what's not.
The other parents I spoke with were split. Some said they let their kids play these games, and some said they would never let them near them. One parent told me that these games help kids know right from wrong. Alicia?
Thanks, Hunter. After yet another school shooting, many wonder if faculty members are prepared to deal with the shooting. As Take 30's Cole Dillon shows us, the state says they have a solution.
On December 19th, Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant signed Executive Order 1411, which said that all state employees were required to complete an online active shooter training course provided by the Mississippi State Personnel Board. As a public school, all MSU employees are required to participate in the training as well, and Dr. Larry Strout says he understands.
My reaction initially was a little bit of surprise that it would be something they'd require by April 1st, but on the other hand, not surprised because of the current climate and the current events. It's just very scary. The possibility that someone with a gun would enter into a classroom building, either at a high school or at a college, and simply start picking off students and faculty and staff. So I understand why they have ordered the training. It's just a sad state of affairs, I think, that we have to do that, but we have to do what we have to do.
The training is designed to inform the trainee on what steps to take in the event of an active shooter. The first objective of anyone caught in such a situation should be to avoid the shooter if possible. If you are able to run away from the area, do so. If avoidance is not a safe option, you must deny the shooter access to you. Barricade yourself in a room with as many heavy objects in front of the door as possible. If this step fails, the only option left is to fight for your life. These steps are often taught in such training, but communications instructor Frances McDavid says she values the refresher.
I think anything that reinforces the steps that you need to take can be useful. A lot of it is common sense, but in moments of crisis, common sense is not necessarily what arrives to your mind first. So I think just reinforcing those steps is useful.
A spokesman for the school said that safety measures are constantly under review, and that since a shooting scare a few years ago revealed some flaws, the coordination between school, city, and state police has never been better.
Further information on what to do in case of any emergency can be found on the website at the bottom of the screen or in a pamphlet next to the door of every classroom. One person is dead, 3 others are seriously injured, and another is behind bars. Take 30's Braxton Hoyt looks into a fatal 4-way crash.
61-year-old Jimmy Andrew Sims has been charged with manslaughter and aggravated assault after a fatal car crash. Starkville Police Department responded to the collision approximately at 10:45 a.m. Monday.
On Monday, March 12th, Starkville Police Department we responded to a collision involving 4 vehicles. 3 of those vehicles were occupied.
Police say the 4-vehicle crash happened on Lampkin Street between South Montgomery and Russell Street and resulted in the death of 47-year-old Tanya Graham.
Individuals were transported to OCH Regional Medical Center. One of those individuals was flown out of the area for further treatment. The next day, the individual that was flown out of the area for further treatment passed away.
I'm Braxton Hoyt, reporting for Take 30 News.
Officers booked Sims in the Oktibbeha County Jail Monday. He's since been released on a $35,000 bond. Police are still investigating. Let's head over to Jordan now for a first look at our Campus Connect forecast.
Thank you, Alicia. And it's going to be a cold one out there tonight. We're going to have a low of just 34 degrees with some of that patchy morning frost. So it's going to be a little bit to warm up your car to get out of it. And that's because of a northwest wind that's come as a result of that cold front that brought you a lot of that severe weather that you saw in northern Alabama on Monday night. Now heading into tomorrow it's going to be a little warmer than where we were at today. We're going to be at 64 degrees and we're going to be warming back up. The northwest winds are going to start to simmer down a little bit because they're going to start to shift to a more southerly direction ahead of the warmth. And speaking of the warmth, let's look at our extended forecast because I'm going to show you Friday's high. And Friday, we're going to be looking at 70 degrees. That's more like spring. Spring finally decided to show up. And then moving on into the rest of the weekend and into the early next week, Wednesday is our big chance of rain with a 50-50 shot of rain and temperatures more feeling like spring decided to show up.
At first it was voted down, but now it's moving forward. Starkville's Pride Parade is on this Saturday. Take 30's Cole Dillon explains how the city's original decision to stop the parade ended up helping the group's cause.
When first put on the board of Alderman's desk for a vote, a Pride Parade in Starkville was voted down. But Starkville Pride President Bailey McDaniel says the first vote caused many to reach out to help, including a high-profile attorney who agreed to take on the case for free.
For those 2 weeks, we were talking to everybody and their mom. Like, we were on every news outlet. We were meeting people that I had never even thought existed in the community. There were so many supporters that I never knew were in Starkville. It was a lot of networking, and too, we had to prepare because Pride was going to be exponentially larger than what we had originally planned. So we had to kind of alter the original agenda for the 2-day event to include a lot more people.
What may have originally been a small gathering this week is now shaping up to be a huge event. Fellow Starkville resident and student Trey Craig says he thinks this event will be a special one for the LGBT community.
I was kind of kept out of the loop for a while until, friends told me about it. But I could see that it called some people to action. Like, I know a lot of people who are, they'll usually talk a lot, but they won't do. But for this time, they did it because it's here, it's local. This is a place where we don't have to travel or save up money to go to. It's here. So we want to make sure that happens and it goes smoothly.
With the extra publicity that has come from the standoff, Ms. McDaniel expects an event the state won't soon forget.
Before, I think we would have been really thrilled if maybe 100 people showed up to the entire event, but now we're expecting We're expecting people all from everywhere from New York to Los Angeles to New Orleans. People are coming from Florida. It's going to be the gayest thing that Mississippi's ever seen.
In Starkville, Cole Dillon, Take 30 News.
The parade begins at noon this Saturday. Those wishing to participate in the parade or other Pride events can find more information on StarkvillePride.com or on their Facebook page. A U.S. federal judge temporarily blocked a Mississippi law that enacted the tightest restrictions on abortion in the nation. Reuters reports the ruling was handed down a day after Governor Phil Bryant signed the measure that prohibits abortion after 15 weeks of gestation, with some exceptions. The judge's ruling blocks the measure for 10 days while he considers arguments to stop the law from taking effect until the outcome of a full legal challenge. The judge said a stay was justified because the Mississippi's law proposed 15-week limit is outside of the medical consensus about when fetuses become vital, raising questions about whether it violates the U.S. Constitution.
Federal funding cuts are hitting close to home. Impacts are being felt by MSU students who use the Noxubee Wildlife Refuge. With the refuge being a short distance from Starkville and its abundance of animals, fish, and plants, the MSU Wildlife Department do lots of projects and research at the refuge.
I think that, cutting back on the hours probably impacts a lot of people and their ability to use it, but it might potentially make it harder for them to patrol it and kind of enforce the regulations that they have. And the refuge is fantastic because it's so close to campus. Students can get out there. It's sort of like a diverse system. So it's a great teaching tool as well as just kind of a recreational asset for people around here.
For the new hours of open and staffed operation, visit their website on the bottom of the screen. If jazz music is your interest, find out how you can get an earful this weekend.
Our world is changing. The way we work, the way we connect, the way we see things around us. At Mississippi State University, we're agents of change, creating our own bright futures, solving real problems, turning challenges into possibilities, and lighting the way to a whole new world of emerging markets. Through MSU's new state-of-the-art Center for Entrepreneurship and Outreach, we're collaborating across campus, sharing perspectives and resources of multiple disciplines to power dreams. But we're so much more than dreamers. We've launched hundreds of student-led businesses, earning millions in revenue, and impacting our state's economy in new and creative ways. We're the next generation of business leaders, and we're ready for a changing world. How do we know we're ready? Because we're the ones changing it.
The piano keys are jumping as fingers dance out the tunes of the Roaring Twenties at this year's Ragtime Jazz Festival. Take 30's Jordan Derensberg explains.
Jazz musicians from across the country will perform this weekend. MSU Library's events coordinator Linda Graham has been planning this for months.
We're very excited here at the library. It's a different lineup. We've got a guitarist and a banjoist along with our piano features. One of our artists, Ivory and Gold, we even have a flute that plays along with the piano. We're very excited about those different elements into the festival.
While the main event is the music, Graham says that this event is much more than that.
It starts on Thursday with the Gatsby Gala. Starts at 6 o'clock that afternoon, runs for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Trying to involve the students here on campus. The fashion board will show their renditions of fashions from the 20s, and our fashion models will model, and so we have a modeling show followed by a reception.
Here at McComas Hall, the main event of the Ragtime Jazz Festival, the concert, will take place on Saturday. Several jazz musicians are slated to perform. Graham said that one of those artists are a married couple and was her favorite.
I'm going to say Ivory and Gold because I've seen and personally met both of them. Excuse me, Jeff and Ann Barnhart. They're just a real sweet couple, and I enjoy the flute going along with the piano. It's something different.
For Take 30 News, I'm Jordan Derensberg.
The event is free for MSU students, but concert tickets for non-students is $10. Seniors 65 and over are $8, and all festival passes are $30. It'll be held at the library's Templeton Music Museum. You can find more information on their website at the bottom of the screen. The Sanderson is hosting their 3rd annual Battle at the Lake event. It's designed for students and the community to compete in a series of difficulties, pushing their bodies through physical trials and obstacles.
A fitness/obstacle course around Chadwick Lake. So we do have a walking path that goes around Chadwick Lake. It is exactly a mile long. So what we're going to do is set up different stations around there. We're going to have, I believe it's 13 stations around the lake, anything from hammer swings, tire pulls, farmer's carries, some stations with your burpees and jumping jacks, things like that. And it's just something to add to the challenge of just running that mile. Along with that, we also have Battle XL, which is just looping around the back, and it's about anywhere from half a mile to an extra mile long, and it's just harder obstacle courses.
The event will be held this Saturday, March 24th. It costs $25 and students can charge it to their student accounts. Awards will be given and all proceeds go to fund student development within the department. We're looking at the weather right outside Mississippi State right now. We've also got coming up West Point as well as Columbus, and Jordan's going to give us a better look at our forecast coming up next with Campus Connect.
We all depend on accurate weather forecasts to plan our day. That's why Mississippi State University is teaching students to forecast the future using real-world news sets as classrooms, putting scientific discoveries in meteorology to the test, while honing on-air reporting skills real-time with local TV stations. And we do it so well that at any given moment across the country, 1 in 3 weather forecasts are being delivered by MSU-trained meteorologists who are helping people make crucial decisions that impact their safety, working to ensure business continuity, and in many cases, saving lives. Predicting the future? That's what we're preparing for every single day so that you can prepare for your day. When you're the best, everyone wants to see what you'll do next. At Mississippi State University, our team of world-class rocket engineers is venturing beyond boundaries, building rockets like none before. We're launching a new era of space exploration. We've developed cutting-edge technology that's helping us build a rocket that can travel at 4 times the speed of sound. Fast? Yes. But more importantly, revolutionary. For you and for a space program that produces many of the conveniences we enjoy today. We're shaping your life in ways you never dreamed. What's next? Watch us and see.
Welcome back to Take 30 News. I'm Campus Connect meteorologist Jordan Derensberg. Looking at the temperatures right now, mid-50s throughout much of our region. The cold spot is Iuka. We're at 49 degrees. And the temperatures, they've gotten a little warmer over the past 24 hours. In fact, we've had an 8-degree temperature increase in Winona and 7-degree increase up in Yalobusha County over in Coffeyville. Now, I understand we got ourselves a nice little baseball game tonight that we want to talk about. But first, tonight, we're going to be at 34 degrees, patchy morning frost, and that's because of a northwesterly wind that came with that cold front that brought the severe weather to northern Alabama and parts of Georgia yesterday. And now it's time to talk about a nice little baseball game. And we're going to have temperatures right at around 50, 49 degrees to be exact. It's going to be chilly. It's going to be breezy. So bring that nice little light jacket. Maybe even bring a blanket as well as we take on Texas Southern and hopefully get another win that Shawanda will talk about in a little bit. But tomorrow, we're going to be at 64 degrees. It's going to be much warmer. Plenty of sunshine, and that's because that northwesterly wind's going to start to slow down a little bit, and the winds are going to start to shift. They're going to become more southerly as that warm air comes in. We're talking about warm, right? Guess what the temperature is going to be on Friday? Let's go to our extended forecast. Friday, we're going to have a high at 70 degrees. That means, oh yeah, we're going to finally feel like spring, and then the same will go for the next several days after that. Wednesday, though, you may want the rain jacket and the raincoat and the rain boots and the umbrella and all that jazz, because we're going to be at 72 degrees and a 50-50 shot for some thunderstorms.
Coming up next, we'll have Shawanda Jones with how our Bulldogs have been doing this past week.
If you want to have a big impact in the world, you have to start small. At Mississippi State University, we're starting in the Gulf of Mexico, where a small but crucial barrier island is quickly fading from view. Millions of state dollars are spent dredging sand to replace the vanishing shores of Deer Island, but we think we can do better. We're applying cutting-edge sediment tracers to map the flow of currents and predict the course of sand that's carried out to sea, a process that will help us better understand the drastic transformation taking place. While this is a more cost-effective way to prevent the loss of an island, it's about so much more than saving dollars. It's about taking the first step in a long process to preserve our environment and secure a better, brighter tomorrow. We might be starting small, but rest assured, at Mississippi State University, we're dreaming big.
Hi, I'm Shawanda Jones. Thanks for tuning in to Take 30 Sports. Making their last appearance in the Humphrey Coliseum this season, the number 1 seeded Lady Bulldogs defeated number 9 seed Oklahoma State with a final score of 71-56. Mississippi State will face off against number 4 seed North Carolina State on Friday in Kansas City, Missouri. The regional semifinal will tip off at 6 p.m. This is third time in a row that the Bulldogs will advance to the Sweet 16 and fourth time in MSU history. The team will finish the season with a second consecutive 34-win season and an 18-0 at home school record. SEC Network analysts stated that Vic Schaefer's main priority for the team is defense. The Lady Bulldogs will have to defend their title 3 more games in order to return to the Final Four.
How cheerleaders stay safe after the break.
What drives you? What pushes you forward? Is it an appetite to be the best or a calling to make a difference? For those of us here at Mississippi State University, it's both. We're designing a future where cutting-edge hybrid technology isn't imported from overseas, but exported from our own backyard. We're working toward a day when solutions to energy independence move at 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds and are as simple as charging a phone. A day when fuel economy and environmentally friendly are viewed as less of a compromise and look more like this. For us, turning heads in the auto industry is great, but living up to the hype is even better. That's because it's about more than simply envisioning the future. It's about getting there. And here at Mississippi State, we know just the ride to take.
keeping cheerleaders safe. March is National Cheerleading Safety Awareness Month, and Mississippi State University's All-Girls Spirit Squad takes the safety of their cheerleaders seriously. The sport requires lots of physical contact with other participants, including tossing, lifting, and catching others. Without proper knowledge and technique on how to keep cheerleaders safe, injuries become a huge concern. Cheerleaders say that they keep each other safe during practice and performances by having spotters around stunts. They say if they aren't careful, they could get concussions and broken bones.
Oh yes, and tonight it's going to be a cold one. We're going to be at 34 degrees, so the patchy morning frost is definitely going to be happening, and that's because of a northwest wind bringing in a lot of that cold air, so it'll take a little bit to warm up that car. So also, if you're heading to the baseball game tonight, the temperature is not going to be nearly as cold, but still want to bring a jacket for the baseball game. So yeah, it's going to be pretty chilly tonight, and make sure that you have the car warmed up and everything is nice and warm before you head out for early tomorrow morning.
Well, we're glad y'all joined us tonight, and we hope to see you again next week. Good night.
Good night.